I am Mobashwera, speaking about the contexts and direction of Australian education. The purpose of this presentation is to look at the social, political, economic, industrial and philosophical factors which can influence any modern education system in general, and then to relate those contexts to Australia. Finally, I put some of my insight in the future directions to address those issues as a 21st century teacher. I would like to draw attention of my audience to the huge resource available in the web for self-education. Let me start with this video clip. This is an RSA production and the person speaking is Sir Ken Robinson. The video is flagging up the ongoing changes in education system because of globalization, which is the result of ongoing modern civilization and thus the impact of ICT in our everyday life. Now let us draw down our view at the interconnection of education with various contexts of our life. This is a very simple diagrammatic representation about the learning process which takes place in a number of interdependent contexts such as social, political, economic, cultural, philosophical and global considerations, which are intrinsically related to students, teachers, parents and the society as a whole. I have made the timeline in the link below about the evolution of these contexts in relation to the education in Australia. The overall observation about the changes can be pointed out as education was isolated, independent and teacher-oriented until few hundred years ago. The content was religion-based. Presently, it is constantly growing to be integrated among students, teachers and community around the globe, and arguably in a controlled manner by the various levels of government. The following link is to an article published in the New York Times magazine in 2010 about the evolution of classroom technology, which is a visual representation of the concept. The formal education in school takes place with the interaction of teacher and students. The three definite preconditions for learning is related to cognition, which means understanding of the new knowledge, emotional attachment, which means positive feeling about the learning, and physical or mental skill to perform an activity based on that knowledge and feeling. The contexts mentioned earlier do contribute to the whole learning environment. The issues may be relevant to micro levels such as class to class, school to school, in many ways for implementation of educational policies. The issues may be at macro levels such as local, state, federal government levels, international or global scale in the process of policy building. The grouping of the people can be based on age, ability, culture, language, belief system, values at micro level. The grouping of the issues can be based on social, political, philosophical at macro level that can come into play at various instances. In the timeline story, we have seen increasing involvement of government, state government and federal government in control and support for education in Australia from past to present. The current scopes of educational policies in Australia include a range of programs initiated by state and federal government. The key aspect of the policies is around combining the education with childcare services and employment opportunities. The federal government looks at the combination of digital education revolution and national broadband network, whereas state government takes care of the monitoring programs including Victorian child and adolescent monitoring, community profile, refugee status, school entrant health, and early development index, etc. Some of the relevant websites of federal and state government are these. Some of the future challenges can be enlisted as the ongoing global financial crisis, which means priority of education can fall below survival needs. Possible funding cuts in education sector. Technological development and ICT, which means job cuts in traditional business areas. Hands-on worker replaced by knowledge-based worker. The rising proficiency requirement. Because of globalization of economy and global competition in workforce. A new, uncertain future. The successful combination of knowledge and application would be required. A complex reality. The multicultural issues such as equality and equity, safety from cyberbullying, keeping up with new working style and lifestyle would be an unpredictable challenge. Increased competition in workforce would tend to create increased tension and frustration as well. The future technological development, success and failure can mean some issues totally unpredictable. This is a reference from USA demonstrating some of the issues stated earlier. Now, my anticipation around the possible future directions are professional challenges. The changing market of the skilled citizens need to be proactively handled to set the education useful, helpful and sustainable. More extensive professional development activities and less involvement with physical classroom environment, enhanced capability and flexibility for collaborative teaching and learning should be urgent. The other challenges are around personal learning versus collaborative learning, assessment complexity, classroom management subjected to adolescents' emotional involvement in social networking and media. Social preferences. Awareness of the limited resources for everyday life should be highlighted. The need for basic education for all should be implemented to ensure responsible global citizenship. Philosophical directions. Some ethical issues would not be changed, such as education for all as a basic need, the concept of equality and equity, the incorporation of universal philosophy of life. The living life is a continuous process of learning and development rather than a target or event. The true philosophy is one, and that is the unity of creation. So we should feel for all. Choose for other what we would choose for us. Get rid of pride, greed and jealousy. Some initiative is needed to educate politicians of the universal philosophy. This is a prediction of the progress of ICT in the future and thereby a key influencing factor around the education paradigm. In summary, the challenges are keeping up to date with the evolving ICT and overall the safety, security, justice and privacy for all. To ensure IT literacy for teachers, students, parents and the whole community. Too much dependency of ICT may be self-destructing as well. Thank you very much for your attention.